And every single day,
the more enemies we kill.
We're spending trillions and trillions of dollars.
You know, people say, all right, this is your fault.
It's not your fault.
All I know is you're not selling anything.
The Fed's not done, and I'm going to tell you why.
Welcome back to Sean's show, guys. It is, sorry for the delay. I am not here with Josh, my producer, Josh Kabaza. He is back in Austin. And as you could probably imagine, if you're watching, I'm on the road. I'm at a WeWork right now, and I'm on 4 hours of sleep. But you know what? We're out here. We're doing it. And, I feel very naked without Josh. And that's the way I like it. I like being naked. No, I'm kidding. But thank you guys for listening. I'm sorry this is late. Been just doing the road with a great comic, Sammy Obeid, who has been gracious enough to let me host for him on the road. So it's been a lot of fun. We just did Columbus. Just been doing a lot of just cool rooms in the middle of nowhere. I'm in a WeWork in Columbus right now. Gun in my mouth. No, I'm just kidding. Why lie? You guys know I love WeWorks. I love WeWorks, and I'm very sad to admit that I love them, but I do. It's kind of always been my dream to have an orgy in a WeWork. I think it'd be very fun. Someone just walked by. I hope they didn't hear me say that. Just blowing loads on this, like, whatever shitty art is behind me. It's like a fucking... being in a WeWork, it's like being in a classic, like, land acknowledgement kind of place where you just go and it's you know how it goes, guys. Funded by the Saudis, but we acknowledge that WeWork is funded by the Saudis, but everyone in the WeWork acknowledges that their ancestors stole this land from the Native Americans while they make weapons for Israel, and so it's just a lot of fun all the way around. But hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good week. And let's just jump right in, guys. There's a lot of news to get to. And I think the big story, obviously, that everyone's talking about is you can't use a rainbow-colored hockey stick in the NHL. I know everyone's talking about it. Everyone has their take on hockey and using the pride flag on a hockey stick. And I'm here to give you my take. Okay? I'm going to give you my take. Like I do. And I think, not only should you be able to use the rainbow pride flag on a hockey stick, I think it should be on everything. I think it should be on their shirts. I think it should be on their helmets. I think the flag should be on their jockstrap. Just kidding. No, I think it's it's crazy. It's crazy to political statements have always been a part of sports. And if you haven't followed this story, basically there have been a lot in the NHL. There's been a lot of controversy over using different symbols like the pride flag or military appreciation on the other side during the games, and people have gone back and forth on it. And I think what they've landed on this lately is that here's from the article today. Apparently, teams are this season, and I'm not a hockey fan. Hockey's fine; it's not for me. But apparently, in the NHL, teams this season are not allowed to wear any kind of themed jerseys, including military appreciation, hockey fights for cancer, pride flags, or supporting Hamas. Now, that last one, well, I guess it technically would apply. I want to see a bunch of hockey players. I want to see Israel versus Palestine a hockey game. I want to see a bunch of I want to see Hamas out there, just with their in their full gear. Like, I want to see Hamas soldiers with their hockey pucks and their hockey sticks, and the hockey puck is actually a beheaded child. And I want to see Israel, them playing against Israel, and Israel there, and they've got tanks. Like, Israel's hockey team is not even a hockey team; it's just a bunch of tanks and the Iron Dome. Honestly, that's how you really get good at hockey, is you just have Iron Dome. Is you just have an iron dome that stops the puck. But I'm not a big sports guy, but I think it's to me, I don't know. I'm a 27-year-old white man. Like, to me, I always look at who owns what when it comes to political messaging, and I just like I try to. Yeah, I think it's important. You know, you got to look at the incentives of each entity involved in the thing, and that's a little abstract. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like the NHL. I don't know who the fuck owns the NHL. Is it a nonprofit? Is it for profit? Is the NHL funded by Iran? You know, that's the question that I would ask: is the NHL backed by the Iranian government? You know, are they going to Jihad Montreal? And if so, how can I get tickets to see that? Because no, I'm just kidding. That was just a little thing to get us started here. I do hope you're having a good week. I honestly, like, it is nice. I am kind of alone right now, and it is nice to have a person to bounce ideas off of. I actually, just a little backstory, I did, like, my old version of this show, which was crazy, because this, you know, I would, like, be in a WeWork and just film every podcast like this. And you might be thinking, wow, Sean, that sucks. That was your show? And yes, it was, but I'm making the best of it. I will be back in the studio next week. So let's see. What else do I want to cover? So, excuse me. The auto strikes continue. Auto strikes continue with GM and all these other auto manufacturers. And I just want to give a quick update on that. Wow, I kind of came out the jump real quick, guys. And to be honest, I don't know how much steam I have left in me. And you might be thinking like, oh, you know, do comics are lazy. Like, you know, all they do is sit down and record for an hour. You know, you're right. And we are lazy. You thought I was going to defend myself, but I'm not. I'm just a fucking lazy asshole. The UAW strikes continue, and it's really, really hurting the strikes. And I'm just kind of just digesting this now. But on Tuesday, 5,000 workers walked out of GM's factory in Arlington, Texas, and they make the and here's how you know the strikes are getting really bad is the GM factory in Arlington. They make the Chevy Tahoe and the Escalade. You know those big black Escalades that you see driving around with all of the rich, evil people in them? I own one. I own an Escalade. I'm very happy with it. They are that plant makes those vehicles. So this may come to a head soon because when you come after what the rich enjoy, shit gets bad. I'm not saying maybe it'll be resolved, but 5,000 workers walked out, and I don't know. You know, it's weird to look like. Again, people ask me all the time, Sean, are you pro-union? Are you anti-union? Where do you stand? And I don't stand. I sit away from the issue because it's really hard to take a side. I can't take it. Same with Israel Palestine. I don't like to take sides. I like to watch from my ivory tower. Guys, to reiterate, my grandfather died and he left me a chunk of money. So I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm rich for now. I'm losing this money very quickly. I'm spending it all on WeWorks, but the strike in Texas and the largest Ford factory in Louisville, Kentucky, are not operating right now, and you know it's pretty scary. But here's a quote from the union president, Sean Fain, a fellow Sean. He said that with GM earnings actually today, I'm recording this on Tuesday. GM posted earnings today, and obviously that's a big factor in GM's earnings, and I'm sure they took a hit. But the union president said it's time GM workers and the whole working class get their fair share. And when it comes, let's really just think about it. What is fair? Does it exist? Does fair exist? I always love to ask that question. I saw a great movie. I think I mentioned it on the last episode. It's called Worth, and it described it was a movie. It was a beautifully haunting, sad movie about 9/11, and the lawyer that was responsible for deciding the 9/11 Victims Fund and how much each person deserved to get paid as a result of the fund. And it really, really looked at the question, what is fair? How much should the 9/11 victims get? The family's victims get? The victims' families, how much should they get because of 9/11? And the main character at the beginning of the movie basically said that fair doesn't exist. And then eventually he learns that fair does exist. And I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that movie's propaganda and that fair does not exist. There's only what you get. I'm not a Republican. I wish we lived in a world where everyone could get an equal amount of everything. Like I deep down, I think I am a socialist, and I think socialists have good intentions. But as someone whose dad owns a house, I would like to have that. I would like to inherit that. My dad worked very hard for that, and I'm a little rich, spoiled asshole, and that's why I'm a cap. But it's just whatever. It's like, and I think the poor, they want more support from the government because they don't have anything, and it's really hard to reckon with. And the reason I bring all this up is because with the unions, it's like if you're in the union, yeah, you want to advocate. I don't know, union presidents. I mean, you're also like, I'm sure being a union president, very, very different from being in the union. So it's not like, and I'm sure the union president's a nice guy, Sean Fain, but I don't know how much union presidents exactly advocate, how hard they really advocate. Like, obviously they say they're fighting for the union, but who knows? And ultimately, I would say, if you're in this union, you're striking, maybe during the strike, you can learn to code. I'm kidding. The CEO of GM, Mary Barra, we've covered her in the past. She's a real nice lady. Told from her side, Mary Barra told investors on the company's earnings conference call that the automaker has already made a record offer. Oh, this is fun. Mary Barra, GM CEO, told investors on the earnings conference call that GM had already made a record offer and won't sign a contract that jeopardizes the company's future. Here's a quote from her. "We will not agree to a contract that isn't responsible for our employees and for our shareholders," she said. "We need to make sure that we have a contract that is going to allow us to compete and win in what is a challenging market for EVs, and also allows us to support the business that we have with strong margins in our internal combustion engine business, and pay my $30 million salary because mommy wants that yacht." Mommy wants that yacht. I want to see the CEO of GM and just be honest. Can't people be fucking honest? She's going up on this earnings call and being like, look, if we pay our workers more, then we won't have enough money to reinvest in the business. That's not why you fucking are not paying them enough. Just go. I want Mary to go on the GM's earnings call and be like, mommy wants the yacht. Mommy wants to get plowed on a new yacht. That's what she wants. And hey, I want to get plowed on my. I don't want to get plowed. I want to do the plowing on a yacht eventually. But with the quality of the show, we will see if that happens or not. No, I love you guys. Thanks for listening. I don't know. It's same with the Hollywood strike. It's like, yes, inflation's. I think a lot of people's anger is misplaced. Yes, inflation's getting very bad. Yes, you are getting underpaid. You are most likely getting underpaid for the work that you do at whatever company that you work at. It's a tough situation because, if I ran a business, if I ran a business and someone came up to me and said, "Hey, Sean, I have a family." Like if someone came into my office and I was in the middle of doing a bunch of coke, just doing lines and lines of coke, with a prostitute, and someone came into my office and said, "Hey, Sean," takes his hat off and he goes, oh, my family's get real hungry, Sean. Can I have some more money? You know what I would say? I would say, why don't you start a media empire? Then you can feed your family. Until then, I'm sorry. I can't help you. No, it's I don't know. Every company is beholden to its shareholders first and foremost. And to when these CEOs say otherwise, it's just disgusting. There's this new idea out there. There's this new idea that people have been discussing called stakeholder capitalism. And it's not where a bunch of CEOs eat steak every night, although that does happen in this version too. No matter what kind of capitalism you have, the CEOs eat steak and they fuck you. But this new concept, it's a few years old. It's called stakeholder capitalism. It's basically this idea where the shareholders don't come first. And you actually have to balance the interests of the employees, and you have to balance the interests of the shareholders, the employees, the partners. And it just doesn't, it's a lie. It's just a fucking lie, dude. It's just like it does. People are saying like, oh, we have to look out for all of our stakeholders. It's fucking bullshit, dude. It's like just, that's the dishonesty is what pisses me off. And that's not just for American corporations. That's also for Israel and Hamas. I want, you've seen what, all these corporations do. They don't pay their employees, and there's less escalates being. That's the worst part about all this, guys. Just like, I'm still trying to kind of processing this auto strike because it is something that I've been following for a long time. And now that they've come after the Escalades, it's too far. It's just too far. The fact that the auto workers are not making Escalades anymore, I don't know if this is propaganda. I'm very worried. I want to buy a new Escalade in the next year, and I don't want to have to overpay because a bunch of rednecks want to feed their kids. Hey, if you want to feed your kids, why don't you get back to making the fucking Escalades, asshole? I want an Escalade. I don't know. We'll see where we'll see where the strike lands. Another quote. The pressures for reaching an agreement that everybody can live with are immense for both the company and the union. The effects of an expanded strike across the three companies and prolonged over time would be profound and would have very serious negative effects on the companies and on the workforce. Interesting. If you're being treated unfairly, sooner or later, you have to stand up. When we get treated better, everyone else will get treated better. And that was actually the union president talking about Palestine. So I don't know why the union president's talking about Palestine. But the union president said, if 40 more babies have to be beheaded so that Palestine can be a sovereign state and independent, so be it. Not me. I'm just quoting. I'm just quoting what he's saying. Jesus Christ. This is it's tough, dude. It's the SAG is on strike. Everyone's on strike. It's just we need a fucking guys. I've been saying this for a long time. We just need a fucking recession. We just need a goddamn recession. That's what we need. We need to drain. We need a recession. We need companies to go bankrupt so we can cleanse the economy. We need like a corporate Ramadan is what we really need. We need a fasting. What we need is a recession. We need everyone to fast. We need America to go on a fast for a year. It may be mandatory. We may run out of food. They may stop growing the food. We may all have to fast, and I'm okay with that because I am getting a little chunky. I could use a little diet. But I don't know. I think bad things are on the way, and I'm not very excited about it. But it's ultimately, I think, what needs to happen. And just kind of moving into to Israel Palestine. It really, and I'm sure I don't know how much you've been following it. It's even hard to just watch the news, man. It's really hard to even just see what's going on with Kim Kardashian and like all the things that she's going through. I'm joking. It's hard to watch the war. It's and you know, I'm not sure how much you're following it, but you know, you see all the money, that all the foreign aid that America is sending, you know, to whether it be to Israel or Ukraine or to Taiwan. I mean, it's just truly insane the amount of intervention that America does, you know, when it comes to foreign wars, because it's like where's the standard? America's just so lost as a country. We don't have a philosophy for how we deal with our foreign affairs anymore. I mean, the real philosophy is that it's just whatever. I think the way America gives foreign aid, it's just how can we maximize the profits for Lockheed Martin and Raytheon? That's how foreign aid is distributed. Because on the other side of foreign aid is just a fancy way of saying government weapons contract. You know? I mean, like, because someone has to make the missiles, someone has to make the tanks, someone has to make the bombs, someone has to behead the children. So you have to pay the people to do that. You gotta really think about it. And some guy just walked by as I said behead babies, but that's why we have our own studio, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm dealing with what I can right now. But where was I? Foreign on the other side of the word foreign aid, like let's say we give $50 billion of foreign aid to Ukraine, they're going to spend that money on weapons, or the foreign aid may itself be already in the form of tanks and shit. You have to value the weapons, and so you know it's not like it's fucking food; it's bombs and shit. And so, people think, oh, we intervene, like the political angle behind American intervention in other wars. There's no actual like moral or ethical philosophy behind it, in my opinion. I don't see it that way, because America's funding Israel, which is the colonizer, quote unquote, the colonizer, right? But we're also funding Ukraine, which is the oppressed nation. So where's the standard? And ultimately, you want to know why we're giving Israel weapons and we're giving Ukraine weapons? It's because they would pay the highest price for our weapons. It has nothing to do with it's nothing to do with their desire to annex land or not, or whether they have, you know, free speech in their countries. We're not on America, like especially Biden is like, we will not tolerate hate anywhere. We fight hate globally. We stand for democracy globally. We don't even have fucking democracy here at home. So how are you going to fight for that abroad? I mean, it's truly insane. And you know, you look at like all the layers of bullshit between your vote and what actually happens, how the American government actually operates and how they pass laws. We don't live in a democracy, and you know that if you're still listening if you're listening to this far, hopefully you would agree that we don't have a fucking democracy. But let's just digest. I am digesting some more news on the war. Here's a article that was updated this morning from the Wall Street Journal. Iranian-backed militias mount new wave of attacks as U.S. supports Israel. So Iran. I mean, this is getting pretty fucking serious, guys. I just remember what I wanted to talk about. So the U.S., we sent a aircraft carrier, the Navy ship, the USS Carney was sent over, which is a guided missile cruiser, and the U.S. Here's how escalated it's becoming. A Navy missile cruiser carrier operating in the Red Sea shot down 4 Iranian-provided cruise missiles that I assume were Hezbollah, which is the Lebanese terrorist freedom fighter group, depending on your stance on that. I don't know. They all kind of blend together. Hezbollah, who fucking knows? They're all Arab government slash. Really, it's people that just whose parents were killed by the West. And that's the sad thing. It's like, yeah, people get radicalized, I think, but like, I really believe this. Every bomb creates another terror. Every bomb creates a terrorist. It's very sad. But if you think about it, it's like, put yourself in their shoes. Like, put yourself in the shoes of someone in Gaza, and you're a 15, 16-year-old man, and your parent, and you're just trying to survive, and your parents get blown up by a rocket from Israel. You're gonna join Hamas. You're more, and it has nothing. And I don't condone that. I don't condone eye for an eye, but you can't. It's not as clear cut as like, oh, they're terrorists. They're less than humans. We need to kill them all. Because you got to think about the history. You have to think about the history of why people join these organizations. You know. And it's not that simple. It's not like people just join. Maybe some people, if you're an incel, it's guys whose parents were. Hamas is just guys whose parents were killed by Israel, and incels that couldn't get any pussy. That's really what Hamas is. The government, the terrorist group. People asking me, do I condemn Kim Kardashian? I do condemn her. I do condemn whatever she's going on. I condemn it. I'm just kind of going through the news here, guys. It's really, really scary to see an uptick, just an overall uptick in the involvement of other countries in the war. And people are saying it could devolve into World War III, and I agree. I really, really think it could. And if that happens, I don't know what I'll do. The scariest part of a third world war is that we may not be able to listen to podcasts anymore. And I know that that's a lot of people. I can barely sleep at night thinking, oh my God, am I still going to be able to listen to Lex Friedman's podcast if there's a third world war? Will I be able to watch Lex Friedman interviewing Mark Zuckerberg about the metaverse if we go to war? That really scares me because I'm a big fan of Lex, as you all know. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Lex, if you're listening. I would actually love to interview you. You're a cool guy. I feel like me and Lex are like the same level of autistic. I love how I said that. Autistic, like artistic. I think we are. We both studied math. I think he studied engineering or math or some shit, but I'm just worried. The U.S., we sent a Navy aircraft missile carrier to the Red Sea to defend Israel. And you know what? This is kind of just a tangent, but I don't like that who was the first guy to start calling ships and boats with like she, her pronouns? Because that, like, why are you trying to sexualize a boat, dude? You trying to fuck a boat? You trying to bang a boat? They're like, oh, may God bless her on her maiden voyage. It's like, dude, why do you have like? Are you what like? You want to like have sex with a boat? You want to like go on a boat and like find like a hole in the boat and stick your dick in a steel hole in a boat? You're a sick fuck. Just call it it. This like this I don't know. You can't put the pussy on a pedestal. You can't put the boat on a pedestal. Oh, she's a beautiful boat. She's a beauty. It's like, dude, it's gross. Can you not sexualize a chunk of metal that was created to, can you not say, hey, how about this? It'd be good for American culture. How about we don't sexualize the missile guidance carrier? Okay. I did make a joke about this on my Instagram, but I also want to cover it here. The other thing that really frustrates me about this America and what really pisses me off about the way that the American public is sold war and death and violence and bloodshed of innocence is I think it all came down. It really started with this, which is when I believe it was in 1941, as a part of a law that passed, when the U.S. Secretary of War, because we have a Secretary of Defense, right, in the president's cabinet. In the 40s, the Secretary of Defense used to be called the Secretary of War, but they rebranded it, right, so that, like, I don't know, suburban white moms could sleep at night better. That's why they did it. And here we are, some 80 years later, and now the U.S. and a lot of countries do this. A lot of countries just say, "Oh, we're defending ourselves," and Israel says that too. Israel says, "Oh, we're just defending ourselves." And yes, there was a terrorist attack on Israel, and I condone it. Kidding, I don't. But yeah, obviously, but. When does defense become genocide? That's the question. When does defending your country become the genocide of another country's people? Where's that line? And and I won't even focus on Israel. I'll focus on America. We can't call it the defense industry if you name the bombs the Predator missile, the Tomahawk missile. You know what doesn't sound like a country defending itself? A country that creates a weapon, a guided heat-seeking missile called the Tomahawk missile. With names like, Demon Slayer, the Raptor, the F-35 Raptor, whatever, all these words that people, I don't know if that's what it's called, but all these words that the military uses, and they call it the defense industry. Oh yeah, sure. Let's defend ourselves by nuking Japan. Yeah, that makes sense. And I know this is all a very liberal take. It's all very nonviolence, but it's like people like, and I am about nonviolence, and it's like, it's just funny when people are like, oh, like, you gotta have war. Oh, you're all about nonviolence. You must be a pussy liberal. No, I don't. I don't support the unions. I don't support the auto unions. Those guys are losers. They drink a lot, and they probably go home and hit their wives when the Chiefs lose. Okay, I don't support all unions unilaterally. Okay, I'm not. I'm an independent. I look at things issue by issue. It's very important to look at things issue by issue, because if you don't, you just end up following an ideology without even realizing it. What do you think about that, Josh? Hey man, yeah, I think that's a really good. I'm just fucking with you guys. He's not here, and that's not his voice. I just did the Mexican voice. Fuck. Wow, I will tell you what, guys. Talking for 30 minutes without anyone else listening to you is hard. It's tough. But I did want to get something out to you guys, because I do love doing this. But I don't know. Here's another quote on the Middle East. I'm kind of jumping all around today, but here's a quote from a former CIA official. Iran understands that it would lose a conventional conflict with the United States, said Norman Rule, a former CIA official with long experience in the Middle East. Okay, Norman, you probably did some advanced interrogation on some terrorists. Here's another quote. However, Iran sees little cost and significant regional political gains if it fuels proxy attacks against the U.S. or Israel that may lead to long-term conflict that erodes the U.S. and Israeli reputation in that region. Very, very good analysis from an ex-CIA officer, and I think he's right. Right. The CIA might as well be part of the fucking Third Reich, or not CIA. The NASA hired a bunch of Nazis, but that's a story for another episode. And you'll probably already know that if you watch this. You're probably a crazy conspiracy theorist. But Iran's militia network extends through Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and Gaza. Many of the groups have their own agendas and a degree of autonomy, yet are under Iran's influence. The Middle East has always been complicated, and I think that it's very complicated, and I don't have the solution. You want to know what my solution is to conflict in the Middle East? It's actually very simple. It's just buy Palantir stock. It's just buy Raytheon stock. That's how you're going to set yourself up for success in this world. Because the winners of a global conflict are the weapons companies. Those are the only winners. The winner of I can tell you who's going to win a war between Israel and Palestine. Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and Boeing. And me as a shareholder of all those companies. No, but like it's and I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's fucked up. But that's what's going to happen, you know? And truly borders. It really is just sad to see it's sad to see borders at all, you know? And people really, and this is what I've been talking about since I started this fucking awful show that I love that you're listening to, is that people think globalism is evil because it's one world government, right? One oppressive world government. But like, what if globalism to me is not one government. It's zero governments. You know, what if there was a way that we could just do away with borders and do away with any sort of weapons manufacturing? Truly, they start the wars. I mean, they truly it's so sad to see, but I'm fucking serious about this shit, guys. We saw it the day that Hamas attacked Israel. All of the defense stocks skyrocketed. It's 6 to 8% the next day, because Wall Street knows that when there's a terrorist attack, weapons manufacturers get more government contracts. They make more money. They enrich themselves. So that's the truth. That's the sad truth. And the only people that stand to benefit from prolonged war are those weapons manufacturers. And it's just very sad to see. And people die for it, you know, and they get wrapped up in ideology. And, you know, a lot of people are lost and they're looking for the truth. And I'd say the only real way to find solace in all of this is to understand that, you know, Khloé Kardashian is a bitch, and she is so wrong about Kim and what she stands for. And I really think that, you know, I support Kim 100%. People have been asking me to condemn Khloé Kardashian. I do condemn her. I condemn everything she's done, and I condemn her behaviors. I've even heard reports that Khloé Kardashian has beheaded children, her own children. Al Jazeera reported that. So, you know, but I don't know. It's hard to know what to believe. But all I know is I stand with Kim. She's a great mom. I love her, and I stand with Taylor Swift. I stand with female icons. And that's who we have to look to. In these times of pain and anger and violence to a horrific degree, we must stand with female celebrities. They know what is best. They know what's best for us. Amy Schumer put out a great take. You know, Black Lives Matter. Palestinian, free Palestine. Stop pirating my specials. I think she said something like that. She said, Black Lives Matter, free Palestine, stop pirating my content or I will sue you. That's what she said, I'm pretty sure. But is there any more? Yeah, that's pretty much it on Israel. I may stop covering because it's just hard to even talk about, and I don't want to end on that because it's a little bit too dark. But let's end on something a little more lighthearted, shall we? Shall we look at something? Ooh, here's a great thing to end on. My favorite topic, self-driving cars, Silicon Valley. You know I love it. So this is actually crazy. The DMV has suspended permits for self-driverless cars in the entire state of California. This is pretty incredible, right? Cruise has faced problems in one of its biggest markets, San Francisco, as its cars stalled and were involved in incidents. And I think we all saw this coming because the difference between a self-driver... here's the thing. The difference between a driverless car in San Francisco and a car with a driver in it in San Francisco is nothing. In both cases, there's no souls in either one. They're soulless. Okay? People driving... In fact, every car in San Francisco, even if there's a San Francisco resident driving the car, no souls in either case. It's a godless place that I love. I love it. It's godless. It's great. And you can just kind of feel it when you're there. But no, I'm joking. I love SF. But so, I mean, I'm in Austin. Here's the thing. Here's what's so annoying. Cruise is flooding the streets with these fucking cars. They're creating traffic. They're wasting our fucking time so that they can train the machine learning algorithms for Cruise on the street. You know? And I mean, that might have been a little complicated to understand. But what I'm saying is GM, I've seen this literally with my own eyes firsthand. At around 9 or 10 p.m. in Austin, Cruise will flood the streets with these driverless cars that do laps in the city and just create congestion and waste all of our fucking time. I'm just trying to get home from the club and blow a load, right? And I can't because GM's wasting my time. GM should be paying me and all of us because they're wasting our fucking time, but they don't. You know, it's unbelievable the way that, you know, corporations take advantage of the people. It's truly disgusting. So I couldn't be happier that Cruise has been suspended. Good, fuck him, dude. And hey, that's why maybe we need some fucking more regulation, or maybe less regulation. Maybe we need private roads, right? So that Cruise can go on the streets with just the poors. But last week, the National Highway Traffic Safety NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, said it opened a safety detect probe into nearly 600 driverless cars operated by Cruise. So they're investigating them. The DMV issues 2 permits to Cruise, one for testing and the other for actual deployment of driverless vehicles. So in addition to halting its driverless vehicle deployment, the testing permit was also suspended. But let's see what's the ultimate reason for the suspension. Is it? I mean, ultimately, it's just for the issues that they're having. The DMV has said that Cruise's vehicles aren't safe for public operation, and the company's misrepresented information related to the safety of the technology. Here's a little related article. Oh, this is... I'm sorry for laughing, but... San Francisco woman pinned by driverless Cruise vehicle after being struck by hit-and-run driver. Rescue crews had to lift the vehicle off of the injured pedestrian. A woman was severely injured in San Francisco after a hit-and-run driver plowed into her, launching her into the path of a driverless Cruise car. The autonomous Cruise vehicle came to stop on top of the pedestrian. Holy fuck. And apparently, as soon as the woman said, "I condemn Hamas, I support Israel," the vehicle actually moved off of her. Fascinating stuff, guys. And I would say that if you're ever pinned underneath a Cruise vehicle, remember that this is in the interest of the greater good. The Cruise vehicles are here to stop accidents. Okay, they're here for your safety. If you ever get pinned down by a driverless car and you're screaming help and it won't get off of you and it's crushing your spine, just remember, they're here. They're there to keep you safe because you're a bad driver. Unlike these driverless vehicles, which are very good. No, this is fucked up, dude. I mean, this is pretty crazy. These things aren't safe. But let's see how the company responded. Our heartfelt concern and focus is the well-being of the person who was injured, and we are actively working to suppress their voice and settle out of court for a very low sum. No, that's not what they said, but that's what they're going to do. We believe that another vehicle that was not an autonomous vehicle may have initially involved the collision, but the vehicle or driver were not present at the scene during our investigation. Yeah, no shit. It was a fucking hit and run. That doesn't mean that the vehicle's not at fault. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. But that's it, guys. I mean, the question is, do you want to be in Gaza being blown up by rockets in Israel, or do you want to be in San Francisco being run over by autonomous vehicles? The choice is up to you. Or do you want to subscribe to Sean's show and learn the truth? But I do have to head out of here, guys. I have a show tonight. I'm having a blast on the road, and I'm very happy I was able to do no road stories. I guess technically that last story was a road story with about Cruz, but it was on the road, but not the road story. But I love you guys. I'm sorry this episode was kind of shitty, kind of late, but doing my best. We'll be back in the studio next week with our good friend Josh Kabaza. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe on YouTube. Give the video a like. If you liked it, tell your friends about the show. Join the Facebook group. The Sean Show Facebook group is actually growing. We're up to like 6 people. Once we get to 10, I will be live streaming my suicide on the Facebook group. So make sure you are there for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Join the Patreon. I got a Patreon episode coming out today. I know I'm behind on that. Sorry about that. I will catch up. I promise you. But just spread myself too thin. Like a G, like a boss, working too hard. But what's better, putting out one thing that people like or putting out 10 things that are mediocre? I think we can all agree it's the latter. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good week. Praise Allah. And shalom. I love you. Peace.